3, 2, 1. Action! Hey Glow members, welcome to another episode of
Glow Stick.
And today's topic is hopefully very useful for you because a lot of students and dancers struggle with this.
Yes.
And that is how to remember dance routines better. Meaning whenever you're in any class, workshop, learning a choreography, combination, shines, partner work, we're going to talk about how to remember them better. Tip number 1, count and know your counts. Now, I know it sounds very simple, but there is a difference between counting just for the sake of having your rhythm versus counting to remember your routine. So first of all, it's already something to count. A lot of students don't do that, and we have to always remind them to count. When you count, you're switching on your mental brain, your mental ability to remember routines. So you have to start counting. Number 2, like I said, don't count just for the sake of 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
Yes.
You need to count with the routine, especially let's say for shines. A lot of times in intermediate advanced classes, the counts may not be as simple as 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. There might be syncopations, 1, 2, and 3, 5, 6, 7, or it can be a change of counts like 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. And when the footwork is like this, you need to first prioritize your footwork and count with the combination. Because if you're not counting with the combination, you're not mental noting that count should belong to what footwork.
Yes.
Okay, so really, number 1, prioritize your footwork. Don't count to the styling, count to your footwork. And then number 2, take a mental note. Oh, the tap is on 6, 7. Oh, the turn is on 5. If I stop the class and ask you, when is the tap? You should be able to answer it directly because you're already switching on that brain to go like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 is a tap, or 1, turn, 6, tap. Sometimes counting with labels help a lot as well. Okay, so count, know your count, and mentally match.
Synchronize.
Mentally match the moves to the counts.
Tip number 2. It's really important for you to identify what kind of learner you are. Okay, there are many different types of learners. Okay, there's no one way that is better than another. Okay, you just need to figure out what works for you. For me, for example, I'm quite a visual learner.
Extremely visual.
Yes, I like to watch videos. I learn fast by watching what somebody is doing and mimicking what they do. But that doesn't always work for everybody. Some people are better learners when they listen. For example, they listen to music or they listen to the cues that the instructor is giving. So that is something they can do to help themselves learn to either say things out loud or to listen carefully during class. Some people learn better by repetition, doing things over and over again. So that works for them. So what you want to do is really try and identify what is the best way for you to learn and retain information during class? Because a lot of times we get students that it's really hard to give improvements or techniques and tips to students who are not able to learn or remember the moves in class, Like, because if all your energy is spent trying to remember what the instructor taught, that is your whole class you're just spending trying to remember the moves rather than implementing the techniques or the tips that your instructor is giving. So try and prioritize that first.
And writing off that point, right, that you have every right to ask your instructor to go, can you show it to me again if you're a visual learner? I think I'm more like I'm a doer. I need to feel the move. So I guess I'm a bit of both, right? I look at it and I'm like, okay, what is it going on? And I have to do it. And every time I do it, I feel like I get it a little bit better or I learn it a little bit better. Yeah, so I think that's a really good point. Point number 3. Stop copying your instructors. Stop staring at your instructors throughout the class, okay? Now, you should always take your instructor as a reference. So what I always tell my students to do is this. I'm like, guys, look at me, do it with me one time. Here's the move. Now, let's try it again. Now, stop looking at me. Right? Sometimes even for my teams, like I'm a little bit stricter. I would say, guys, I'm going to do it with you 2 or 3 times. And that's it. You got to remember the steps. Yeah, because again, if you don't remember the steps, I can't clean you up. It's your responsibility to remember it. Yeah, and then after that, as an instructor, I can go, okay, now that you've gotten it, let's start working on your techniques. So make sure that you stop copying your instructors. Okay, take them as a reference. Only look at them when you forgot, or just check to see if your posture is right. But if you stare at them throughout the entire class, at the end of the day, you're not switching on your brain to remember. You're not learning independently. You're very dependent on looking. And like Saren's point, if you're not a visual learner, you're gonna suffer.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're a visual learner, you learn it and then you gotta remember it on your own. Another point of what I'm gonna write on what Brenda said is, if you're always looking at your instructor, you're not actually looking at how you're dancing.
Yeah.
You're only gonna be looking at your instructor and be like, I know I look okay, but how do you look? Point number 4. If you find that you are learning a choreo and you keep forgetting one or two parts, then you need to stop and you need to identify what those parts are and make those parts your focus the next time you do the routine. Okay, usually when students are learning a full routine or even like a short combo, it's not likely that they're going to forget everything. They're just going to forget one or two segments, and those are the problematic areas. So you want to identify those and then figure out what the problem is. Maybe it's a transition that's stumbling you up. Maybe it's a footwork that you have the wrong count for, or maybe you don't have the right weight shift one of the footwork. So identify what the problem is and then make that segment your focus for the next time you do the whole combo again. Yeah. So pretty much for me, I usually tell my students, like, you identify where you're making a mistake, and then the next time you can make a mistake anywhere else except for that one segment. Like, you have to fix it. Yeah, make it your priority to do that part correct.
Yeah. Fifth point is, I always tell my students this. It's your job to remember the routine and my job to clean you up and make you look better. If you do my job first, I can't help you. So the whole point of that is that, guys, you have to prioritize memorizing the routine. That should be a priority before you try and make this styling look good, that styling look good. Because a lot of time, actually, what frustrates me as an instructor is that you haven't even gotten your footwork and you're already trying to do your arm styling.
Yes.
You're already asking me, what arm styling is this? But I'm like, but you haven't gotten your footwork, right? So this point, I guess, is more about layering your priorities. Number 1, memorizing should be a priority, not looking good. And then how do you layer within that? First, your footwork, then your body movement, then your arm styling. Those should be the order of your priority. If you try and do my job, which is to make yourself look good even before remembering your steps, it's a no-go.
Last point. Memory is a skill that is something that you need to practice. So actually, I get this a lot where people are like, how do you learn so fast? How do you remember choreos so fast?
Yeah.
The thing is, we've been doing this for years and years and years. So it's a skill that you can cultivate. And a couple of ways that you can cultivate that is, first of all, prioritizing it, like Brenda said. You have to actively work on it, not just go to a class and switch off your brain. That doesn't work. You need to think about how you can improve this one skill. And then the second, just like any skill, it takes practice. And how do you practice this is by going for more classes.
Yeah.
You just need to go for classes, keep learning, challenging yourself to learning something new every week, for example. Even that is going to make a big difference. I know for me, for example, like if I go on holiday and I have like a few weeks break from like learning choreos, I come back and I'm like a bit slower to learn.
Yes.
So the more you do it, it's definitely something that you will keep getting better at. And it also, for sure, like if I happen to go for a class that the style is not something that I normally do, of course my pace of learning is going to be slower. If the more you go for a class, you do pick up the moves easier because you already have the vocabulary. You know what a side basic is, you know what a sushi is, you know. And then it's not going to be a struggle for you to learn those moves again.
I think there is absolutely nothing wrong if you're a dancer or student who struggles with remembering choreographies to set aside a month or 2 and tell yourself that this month, my goal is at the end of it, my memory needs to get better. My skill of remembering this needs to get better. So for that whole month of taking classes, put aside trying to look better, put aside trying to perfect certain techniques, and just focus on remembering routines every time you go to a class. And I guarantee you that at the end, with all these tips that we have given you, you will be a much faster learner, and then you'll be able to improve your dance skills faster. So to sum it up, both of us, we started as dancers who couldn't remember routines as well. We all start at the same place, like Sarah said. Don't be disheartened, and we really hope that these little tips that we've given you can help you to remember routines better. It's not a talent. It's hard. For sure. Okay? And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Write down in the comments what you guys want us to talk about or give you guys tips about.